tough boy, the big man.
Ah, Vic! Alas, someone who isn't the missing link.
Ours is gonna be a party, so I brought fireworks.
Will you shut up, you stupid gorilla?
What's poppin'? Isn't that what you guys say? What's poppin'?
It's 1984, darlings.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's pop.
Grand Theft Auto, Vice City Stories, rated M for mature.
What's up, boys? Time to partay on the big boat. Booze cruise time.
What are you talking about?
Zip Davis corporate party boat. Mandate.
Yeah, we have so much work.
Required. Yes.
Required?
Yes. You are going. You have to go, and you have to have fun.
Wait,
so.
we have to put out a web show this week?
Yeah, you have to do that too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not exactly super thrilled about it either. We'll eat some cake, drink some beers.
Cruise?
Booze cruise. Let's do it.
All right. I'll go, but I don't want to drink.
You have to drink.
The show's coming out on
Drink
Saturday this week.
Jason's already drinking.
Nice.
Hey, I don't wanna go to work today. Wanna stay home and play all my video games on the One Up Show. You know you'll be a star on the One Up Show. You already are. One up, 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 one up on the One Up Show. One up, 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 one up on the One Up Show.
It is. His eye. You ready to sail the seas of cheese?
Should be working.
I guess so. Is that us? Empress Hornblower? Yeah, the Hornblower. It's us.
So wait, this boat ride is what? Like it's supposed to increase productivity or something like that?
No. It's meant to increase morale.
Morale.
And what you do with morale is you transform it into morality. And then once you have morality, then you get productivity
For the win.
for the win.
I see.
The Phantasy Star beta came out. You and me jump on. First day it's available. Yeah. I had it downloading that morning. And that night we're playing at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm just getting more and more depressed.
I put over 250 hours into PSO, all the different versions, and I felt like a freaking moron not knowing to do anything. Like,
So yeah, you start off and you're in this huge city. I mean, it's way bigger, more spread out than it ever was. Nothing really has signs. There's a little tutorial that runs you through.
the tutorial's horrible. Like, I know people who've had to go through the tutorial twice and they still don't understand what to do. Like, and my thing is like, if you want to introduce this series to new people, like, I've played PSO and I didn't even know what the heck to do. Like, I understand this cool Phantasy Star font that they have, but maybe it should be something you can actually see from a distance.
I actually played a little bit of single player. I'm really not interested in it. It's kind of a throwaway thing, and I kind of wish single player and actually was more like it used to be.
Yeah. And now I know they have like this extra mode where basically you create this character and you go on these missions like the online game, but you use your party built on characters you've met in the single player game. But you can't even take that character and bring him online. So it's like it's like fake online, and it's just a bunch of bullshit.
Yes, and PSU has its own system for having your friends list, which is gamer cards.
Yeah.
So you have to physically meet to hand each other gamer cards. So you have to work out through Xbox Live. Finally, I just called you on the cell phone. Like,
I'm in this universe, on this lobby, on this floor. It's like, it's not that simple. I mean, there's like 12 different stages.
And we had like 6 people that we all had to do that with.
And not only thing, like you can't see everybody like in the lobby because their physical form is like disappearing.
That is bullshit. Like that part pisses me off so much. Like you run towards people and they disappear. Like and also sometimes they're like this gray
silhouette.
Yeah, gray silhouette. It seems worse than PSO in a lot of ways. In PSO, I was playing on like a 56K fucking modem.
And it ran beautifully and it was perfect.
And it ran beautifully. And so there's another thing when you're running along, it's like this.
See, you're running fine. You're running fine, but everybody else you see
around you,
is
yeah,
doing like,
he's running like
the freaking Special Olympics dance or something like that.
Another thing that I know we were all bitching about was the graphics. Like, a lot of the graphics, honestly, I'm like, give me PSO.
Not the graphics, I think it's the art style. I'm not a fan of right now. From what I've seen, I'm not like. First of all, it's a high-res PS2. I mean, we're talking about the 360 version.
Right.
I mean, it's a high-res PS2 game.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, but the thing is, I don't know if it's just the levels I've seen so far. They do not come close to being as cool looking as the Dreamcast original.
As the Dreamcast or GameCube, like PSO. Actually surprised at character customization. I was actually hoping for there's more options, but there's not a ton more options. Some of the options there's like 18 different kinds of eyebrows. Like, hey, instead of 18 different kind of eyebrows, like give me like 4 different faces, you know, or something more like that.
I was like, man, I wish they have like an unlockable where I can play as like the old style, like the old uniform whatever they had, because it was much cooler than what they had now. Like,
so I wake up the next day and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play, and I get on with like.
Wake up! I thought you didn't even go to bed then. I heard you didn't even go to bed that night.
Well, I like fell asleep passed down on the couch for like 2 hours,
all right.
and I get back up and I'm like, all right, let's give this another shot. I get on with like 5 strangers, one of which is the most annoying, like quintessential Xbox Live annoying kid. Like, hey guys, where are we gonna go, guys? Hey, what was the sword, guys? I thought he was speaking a foreign language at first.
No, you're not gonna steal from fun. Okay, you get 1 kill. 1 kill, understood? You just have to. Oh, stop.
You're right, we should ignore that.
Hey guys, my idiot apprentice is playing and he's kind of stupid. Guys, I'm sorry, he's handicapped.
Finally tell the kid to shut up, and a bunch of other things, and suddenly like that old feeling was back. Like running around with 5 people, when I started casting spells and other people were coming in with their swords and stuff, and I was healing people on the fly, and sort of that like teamwork aspect came back.
The PSU's experience is based on the people you're playing with. Right before I kind of stopped playing the beta, I got in a group with I was like level 15. I was with like 5 guys who were like level 17 to 20, and they all knew their shit and they knew how to play the game, and we were just like steamrolling through levels, and it was awesome.
Another really great thing that I was so happy to be able to do is to set the item drops for no longer whoever picks it up gets it. You can actually say, okay, game automatically divided up like an MMO.
And it's funny though, when someone picks up a rare item or gets a rare item, it actually pops up on the side of the screen. It says like Mark Mack has picked up, or Marcus Realist, that what your name is, picks up, a rare like Rappy Feather or something like that, times 7. You're like, oh.
So everybody knows.
Everybody knows. So if you don't have it on random, you know who's like going around and picking up all the crap.
It has the PSO gameplay where
and it's actually enhanced, like the combo system. So basically everything is based on photon arts, like it's based on where your magic and how powerful you are. And now if you attach that to a weapon, like I was a hunter, so instead of just doing the normal 3-hit combo, I could combo it up now to be like 6 hits, and now you can hold like a gun in one hand, a sword in the other, so you can kind of switch back and forth. So the combat is enhanced.
Improving your items, even building your own items this time around is something that they added.
Yeah, well now it's less about finding these rare items, but actually creating them. And so like instead of having your mag like they used to hold over your shoulder, now you got to go to your little room and you have like, it's called like partner machinery or something. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
It's like this looks like a mag, but doesn't follow you around at first.
That really bums me out, by the way.
I love the
mags being gone.
I love the mags, and like now you have to actually like grow them to like a certain level where they become like a helper robot, and you can take them out of missions. But regardless, they're like you go to that spot, and they'll actually create weapons for you. So you basically have to get like almost like a recipe for it first, And you can create more than just weapons. You can create armor. You can create like health items and stuff like that. We still played like crazy.
So this
like
is the whole
that's
thing.
like,
yeah.
And I was literally playing for the whole weekend, and so glad that my fiance was gone for the weekend because I could keep playing.
We went out Saturday night, and like the two girls that were with us were like, and these are girls that work in the game industry, are very game literate girls, were like, you fucking nerds, like get away, like, because we would not shut up about it the entire time. We were talking about grinders, your new weapons that you made.
There's
like
a great fan site, PSO World, and I was like 15 minutes before you showed up to pick me up for the movie, I was like sitting there and just like making sure I was hitting everything.
But I mean, early impression is definitely like, if you're a PSO nut, and we were playing with a whole party of them. This game is going to annoy you, it's going to piss you off, but you are still going to play it and love it.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I'm ripping off, like, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like that, and then it's like, but it's got that formula down that we love from PSO.
Hey Garnet, let's do this quest.
Hey, which game, man?
Burning Crusade.
Cool, which quest?
The one with the dwarf.
Oh, yeah, alright, it's on it.
Well, hello, Mr. Dual Wielding 2 games with another game backlog.
Sup, Scooter?
I have another game to add to your backlog for nostalgia factor. I know you love your childhood hero, Nancy Drew. I was more of a Hardy Boys kind of fellow myself, with a little bit of Encyclopedia Brown.
Did this just come out? So, what's up?
So, you're wowing. I haven't gotten a beta yet, but I do see you're playing FF12, which I have played. FF12. Great FF or greatest FF?
How about greatest FF ever?
Whatever. I'm sick of this. I'm over it. Shut up. You're an idiot. I'm so tired of this conversation. I'm tired of you.
Is this
Shane, just driving me crazy.
Rage?
Yeah, we're just bitching and moaning about Final Fantasy 12 as usual.
Because the levels are
But
so
don't you
big.
think like sitting there and just plotting and sitting there waiting for everything to happen gets old after a while too? Like in the old Final Fantasy.
Turn-based battles don't have to be slow. Like 10-2's not slow, and 10 was a little slow, but it was so strategic that I found regular combat to be challenging and interesting.
Yeah, I don't like gambits. It makes the game unplay. It plays for itself. No, it doesn't. It's just like a little bit more enjoyable and like fast paced. It speeds up the game. And I know some people are like, well, I just want it to be like old school Final Fantasy 12.
In this game, regular combat was never challenging, never interesting, and then when I got to boss battles, they were like too hard because you're so used to using your gambits.
But see, that's the thing. Is more you play the game, the gambits, like you soon you learn how, like which gambits work. You get more of them. The boss battles actually become really fun. So by the end of the game, like you feel like you should have an RPG, like a total badass. Okay, you don't really understand the gambit system at first, but then when you start to get the hang of it, by the time I got to the end of the game, like, okay, I had these 8 gambits set up for each character, and they knew in this situation, this was like their protocol. They go, well, step A, step B, step 3, C. So they knew what they were like. They knew what to do in the right situations.
Because even with your 8 or up to 12 gambit situations set up, they're not set up for every situation. You're constantly adjusting, changing.
I can see why
on the
some
fly,
people might not like it, or it'll take them a while to get used to, because it's strategy. It's like a whole another layer of strategy, but it's dressed up as like as management.
It just felt so good at the very end.
I think Shane doesn't really like it because
Shane
he's not really.
Shane doesn't like change.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Shane's
And he's
problem.
not really an MMO guy like kind of we are. The encounters aren't random anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Time to move on.
It's daunting till you understand it, and then like once you get the hang of it, it's like okay, it takes you 5 seconds to change what you want to do, and like you have one guy automatically steal while another guy is your heal person. It's like
you want an old school 5F game? There's 11 of them.
Yeah.
And they're all being remade.
Yeah,
So
and the thing is, like, you can turn the system where so like you basically can pause the action at any time and like kind of tell this guy to do that. So you kind of do have that option.
You can old schoolify it.
You can old schoolify it to a degree.
I don't think the problem is with the Gambit system necessarily. I think it's more with the underlying battle system. And like it's unbalanced, and the special attacks like missed attacks are useless, summons are useless. Usually in Final Fantasy, if you go out of your way to get something, like in Final Fantasy 7, like Knights of the Round, it's so powerful. You know, it takes a ton of effort to get it, but it's worth it. And this, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
He doesn't like change, but yet he sees the Lost Odyssey trailer, which is all about not changing, and he's hating on that. he likes being contrarian.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
like, he did hate on Lost Odyssey, and I'm like, it's basically old school RPG. Maybe I'm getting tired of, you know, going from point A to point B and having stuck in like these kind of long-winded battles. And for me, it was kind of the change of pace I was looking for.
For me, the long-winded was the dungeons themselves. Like the
dungeons were awesome. The dungeons were beautiful. They were huge, expansive. Like. It reminds me how good a PS2 game can look. I mean, that game is absolutely gorgeous. From like the dungeons, they just like feel huge, and like the world just feels so different and alive.
They're
And
at the top
the
of the
towns,
CG game.
the cities. I mean, they're phenomenal. You don't want like cool looking dungeons. You want them to look good. You want to like be challenged by like going through them.
I don't want to feel like I'm a rat in a maze in these repetitive, empty, giant, sprawling dungeons. They're not well designed.
For me, I think another thing that shows that the franchise is evolving is the story. Like, what next thing you're gonna tell me? Like, you didn't like the story?
I like the story, but the characters aren't quite as engaging as like Final Fantasy.
But who cares? Like, I don't like. It's a different story. Like, it's definitely more of an adult story. It's like political and. For the first time in Final Fantasy, yeah, it's more mature, and like now I don't have to worry about just like this little fucking guy who looks like a girl, but
you're
wants
saying
to be.
Vaughn looks like a dude?
Like, whatever.
Who's even the main character? Ash, maybe.
Who cares? It's not more about the characters. It's more about a world. Like
about
I care.
Politics and like you know.
But the thing is, the more you play the game, it's more about Ash. It ends up being more about her, and you do have a connection to her. It's like Vaughn, like he's almost like kind of like the witness who's kind of there for the ride, which is kind of
all your party members are involved in the story, but they aren't the story.
Yeah, but it's just not as like forced as other Final Fantasy.
Relatable. You don't feel like much of a connection to these characters.
Whatever. I'm so sick of this fucking conversation. I'm out of here. I'm done talking about Final Fantasy. I'm so tired. It is like, I mean, like, it sounds so cliche, but it's a great way to go out on the PS2 for Final Fantasy. Just it is phenomenal.
It's a great set.
And every single time, like every hour, it would get better and better and better and better for me. And like I remember, you know, sitting here cranking at midnight playing this game and not even caring. Like I was, you know, during some deadline, and I was sitting here just playing. I was sick as a dog, and I was playing it. I did wanted to keep playing, and didn't want to write my review. So you know, something's a great game when you're sad that it's over.
Exactly. So I guess we're all in agreement then. FF12 is the bomb.
It is the greatest, mayhap.
Mayhap.
Now I gotta go play Burning Crusade and make my character
right.
poor man's Kate Blanchett. That'll be my character.
See you, Scoot.
Later.
Darn it, it's Quest.
Yeah, this is like deja vu, dude.
Yeah, it is. This is really familiar.
Really familiar.
You guys seen The Office?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Blue's Clues.
Yeah.
It'd be way better if Steve Carell was our boss, though.
That would be awesome.
I drove into just a spectacular day, something like this. As I drove in, I just thought the right time would leave a beautiful night of video. So check that out.
Oh, look who it is. Saint Victor of Vance, the holier-than-thou killer.
Hey, Vic. You deserve good things, honey.
Are you a comedian, friend?
No. I heard a lot about you, Mr. Big.
And I'm your brother. You can trust me.
And you're wonderful. A wonderful drug-dealing, thieving murderer.
Look, Lance, I am a long way from being a good guy. This is a real man with a lot of balls. When will you grow free? Are you trustworthy, friend? I'd say probably not.
Yeah, let's pop!
Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories. Rated M for mature.
It's almost morning.
Hey, Chester! Over here, big man!
What's happening, man?
Hey, man. You enjoying the cruise?
I guess. I was supposed to be working, but I don't know. There's something nice about being on the middle of the ocean. I've been playing a lot of Rogue Galaxy lately, and, you know, aside from the fact that the starships look like real ships, it is essentially like Star Wars, and you do fly around in boats, so...
So that's Dorgan Goa's ship, huh?
The main character in the game is essentially Luke Skywalker, the orphan child on the desert planet who has dreams of one day sailing into the stars. Is very much the Star Wars story.
I totally.
I always knew this day would come. Do you remember when you were just a boy? We'd always look up at the stars together.
So far, the grander story has been somewhat lacking because of its, I don't know, similarity to Star Wars, I guess. The characters and the intricate details of the story, I think, are fairly interesting, and it helps make Rogue Galaxy quite a fun game.
And the art style is awesome, and that is a big part of the draw. It's a big part of the payoff for going through all the battles, for going through all the combat. Same thing with the character design. I mean, either you like that, that dark black outline, cell shaded style, or you don't. If you don't, then this isn't your thing. But if you do, it's like some of the best looking stuff I've seen on PS2.
Dark Cloud 2 looked great. What they showed of True Fantasy Live Online when they were actually developing that game looked like really good, and Rogue Galaxy looks great. The lip syncing on the characters, even during the in-game cinematics, is like really, really nice, I think. And if you've played any of Level 5's previous games that have been localized for the US, then you kind of know that they've had a history of very good voice acting, and this one's no slouch.
Oh man, the voices are awesome.
I thought I told you to stay away. This has nothing to do with you. Leave!
You know, though, don't you? Making this sacrifice won't change anything.
The English is really good.
Yeah,
it's really put together well. And they say some stuff that you're like, wow, this doesn't necessarily sound like a sci-fi opera, but it sounds natural.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
The interface is super smart. Like, even there's like the sphere grid equivalent which is the way that you gain abilities for all of your characters. The Revelation board.
The Revelation board. It kind of struck me as like the Final Fantasy 12 license board a little more because you're building through different licenses. It's kind of a combination of the two.
Right.
And that you have to collect items in the world makes you make decisions like, okay, so I have this restoration potion. Do I use it in my board or do I use it like in combat to help my guys?
Exactly. When you get a new item that fits into the Revelation board anywhere, the Revelation board icon in your main menu screen is like flashing. Then when you get in, like each of the portraits for any of the people who can get a Revelation upgrade are flashing. Then when you click into their board, it's the item you can use is already highlighted. I mean, there's lots of this like kind of streamlining to the interface that you wish would be in every RPG. I don't know. It feels really simple to use. The levels in Rogue Galaxy are not randomly generated. They feel like they come from that same school of thought where it's, kind of the same tiles that are running throughout the entire thing.
But they are a little sparse.
Yeah, they're sparse, but they're more detailed than the ones in Dark Cloud, which is nice. And they're giant. They're huge. After the Jungle Planet, the next one's, like you said, the Coruscant-like, very technologically advanced planet. But you end up very quickly getting thrown into prison. And so it has this kind of prison escape stage. It kind of looks the same the whole time as you'd imagine it might, and as other prison levels and other RPGs have looked in the past. But at the same time, the combat is so fun that I never got bored running through the level, even though it wasn't that interesting visually.
One of the things they did, especially in the jungle level with their level design, is that the levels yeah, they're spread out, and some of the parts where you're going places are sparse, but they built it in nodes, and when you get to a node where something happens, that's where the detail is. Like you get to when you go into the jungle area, the first place you wind up is that guy's hut. And the hut is very detailed when you go in there. They spent the detail where it mattered, giving you nodes that are interesting to play in, and then the rest of the time you know, okay, you know what, I'm supposed to be going through this area.
And the nice thing about it is that they do have save points scattered throughout the stages, and then you're quickly able to teleport between any of the save points, which allows you to navigate through these giant spaces very easily, which is really cool.
This is level 5 doing what they know how to do.
Yeah.
Action RPG, lots of, it's real heavy on the button pressing.
Yeah, it's mashy, but at the same time has enough strategy. Like you can control any of the 3 characters in your party. But I mean, I tend to control one character at once, and then they have that great thing where the secondary characters have special abilities, or even something as simple as using a heal potion. And when there's a point in the battle where it makes sense for that to happen, they'll like recommend to you that you use it. You hit a shoulder button to tell them what to do, and it fits seamlessly in the battle so that you can keep mashing on X and doing your combos.
The recommend system is my favorite part of this battle system. So when you pause the game to use an item or to use an ability, you have action points, and you can use them to do so much. You can use 3 potions at one time if you're full up.
Right.
So if your guys are in trouble, it's like, okay, I need to heal that guy, heal that guy, heal that guy. But you do it all with potions.
Right.
What'd you think of the new combo system where now you collect the orbs and have to power up before you go into the burning attack mode?
It's kind of cool because it keeps you running around the map. I wish that the animation changed or the button sequence changed to make it so that it didn't feel like...
Yeah, why is it always the same?
I don't know. The game is essentially pretty difficult. Like there's combat everywhere, even in the towns. On the second stage, which is like a giant jungle planet, it's basically broken down into planets. The first is the desert planet, the second is the jungle planet. And I got to some treasure chest, which was fake. It was one of the mimic treasure chests, and it destroyed me.
Dude, the first time you hit that mimic, it just blows you off the map.
Yeah,
it's like, it just wipes you guys out.
Yeah, I spent like an hour leveling up my characters, and then for the rest of the jungle planet level, I was able to pretty much mash my way through the battles without any problems. But then when I got to the next planet, it kind of felt difficult again, where I could see like spending another little bit of time to level up before going straight into the battles. It kind of resets itself in that way, and that's kind of nice.
As you get finished up with Final Fantasy XII, which is going to be like right around the time this comes out in January,
yeah,
this is like the perfect contrast for an RPG player. And you'll jump in, and it's got great art style, really colorful, engaging characters, funny, good dialogue, fast action. It's just going to be a big difference for you.
I think it's going to be instantly fun to anyone who's kind of got a predilection towards action RPGs. Like if that is your style, if you like those type of games, especially if you're a level 5 fan, I think you're really going to get a kick out of the game, even if the space opera storyline on a grander scheme is kind of generic.
And so comes the end of one long day. Come dawn, I'll be leaving this planet. Something up there is waiting for me. I can feel it. And that's why I'm going into space.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, buddy.
Do you know if that Harker footage is coming yet? I know I've been waiting for that.
It's supposed to be in tomorrow.
Oh, sweet. All right, I can't wait to see it. I know when we saw it last time, it looked pretty good.
So it is a survival horror game, and it's really about the up-close and personal combat between Harker and vampires. We've seen a lot of traditional vampire games in the past, and many of them tend to have quick kills, aiming systems, sniper systems, taking out vampires very quickly, chopping off their heads off in coffins, etc., etc. We're taking that a little bit further and stretching it out. Our game really focuses on the making killing and pain personal, taking the ultimate revenge and vengeance against vampires, ripping off arms, breaking legs, gouging out arms, opening rib cages and ramming dynamite inside, taking your time to break them down and really punish them and make them suffer.
Yeah, even right down to the moment of dusting a vampire. We're putting a lot of work into this, a lot of effort to make this look really cool, really satisfying, but fast enough so that it doesn't get old or get, you know what I mean?
This isn't, about fighting hordes or big battles like Lord of the Rings style. It's about making pain personal, hunting that vampire down, taking your time to go to his lair to track him.
It looked like Buffy, but badass.
Yeah. I mean, that's the basic pitch for the game, is that it's the collective's best game in the past, history. In my opinion, it's definitely their Buffy game, which is probably about 5 years ago. And this is basically Buffy if you take the license away and you make it more violent, more mature.
So we're not suggesting we're going to make another Buffy game, but what we are suggesting is we have a lot of team members who went through the whole process of designing a really solid combat system. So we're going to take the essence of what the key learnings were from the staff and interject them into this new gothic horror type game.
So how do you do that? How do you mix a horror game with the all-out action? Because you see stuff like The Suffering that kind of does similar thing, but some people have said that making a game too action-oriented kind of makes it less scary. So how do you balance that?
Well, basically the way I look at it is to do with there's two aspects. You've got to hunt them, and then you've got to deal with them once you actually get to them. And to me, the quieter moments, the things that lead up to the tension, is the hunting aspects of that, so that when you actually get to the combat itself, then you get the satisfaction out of it. So there's two sides to it, and for me the hunting is just as important as the actual combat elements itself.
One thing I want to add on to that we haven't really talked about is the impression you might be getting that they're just vampires in the game. We have this thing we're calling the animalistic rage aspect to these creatures, or the feral aspect. So yes, you might have a bipedal human basic fodder type creature. He can climb up walls, he can skitter across ceilings, but if you make him suffer or create too much pain for him, he enters into this rage state. And it's almost like a dynamic transformation into his original sort of hysterical animal creature. So it might be the last 10% of his life, and he turns into more like a wolf type creature or some other animal. So it isn't just about vampires either. And then on top of that, not to try to dilute this too much, the environment takes place in Victorian London, but as soon as we say that, you're thinking wrought iron gates, old brick houses, foggy streets. It really isn't about that. It's about the underbelly of London, the part you don't see. And anytime you enter a vampire lair, that's when we start to become supernatural and try to change the rules of how the crypt might be laid out and how it might look. So it isn't about Queen Victoria per se, and all the kind of derivatives that come along with the Victorian era. It's everything else that people haven't seen. It's the part that normal people don't know about.
Every death was really gruesome. There was the wine press that shut on the guy that you...
Exactly. They were showing us concept sketches of a few of the different environments, and they're okay, we really wanted to focus on this wine cellar first because there was so much potential for what you could do in it just to destroy people.
You kind of always went back to the wine cellar. We like the idea of going down into the belly of a location, really sort of secretly finding their lair, being very smart as a player, and the way we talked about the way you hunt them down, you travel, you find their location, you go in there. And so we chose the wine cellar as our location for the prototype.
And then, of course, you can crush vampire heads in the wine press.
Yeah, and that really was an original wine press right there. Can you believe they had them? I don't think they were crushing vampires with it, though. I think they were making wine.
Often you see these games that are, very similar to each other, and at the very least, I mean, this game looks cool in many ways, but its main core is just, combining combat that we haven't really seen in anything with survival horror in a different kind of way. So.
All right, well, I gotta finish getting ready. I got a bunch of stuff to pack.
Okay.
All right, well, catch you later, man.
Good to see you.
I am the king of the world! That is awesome.
It's funny, here we are going underneath the bridge, right? But I think that a lot of people who don't live in San Francisco think of the Golden Gate Bridge as the bridge,
right.
But for San Franciscans, the bridge is the Bay Bridge.
The Bay Bridge is far more impressive from a technical standpoint of bridge making than the Golden Gate Bridge. Even though the Golden Gate Bridge is more artistically and more famously known, the Bay Bridge, longer, has double decks.
And it goes
Wow.
it goes to Treasure Island, then goes all the way
That's
across.
right.
Takes you to Emeryville, which is awesome.
Emeryville, IKEA.
For the win.
IKEA
for the win.
What's the treasure on Treasure Island?
I don't know.
It's like a water processing plant or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite a treasure. It's
Wait,
treasure for us.
Have you guys seen Luke?
No. I think he wiggled out of this.
He didn't come?
No.
I thought we had to come.
I have defied gods and demons.
Oh, here he is, tough boy, the big man.
It's nice to meet you. I've heard a lot about you.
Ah, Vic! Alas, someone who isn't the missing link.
I'm gonna give you a shotgun suppository.
Whoa! You shut up, you stupid gorilla!
This is rock and roll, so not flipping flower arranging.
What's poppin'? Isn't that what you guys say? What's poppin'?
This is Let's Dance Dance. It's 1984, darling.
What about man?
No.
Well, I do.
Are you man? Yeah! Victor Mans, this is a real man.
I heard there's gonna be a party, so I brought fireworks.
Whoa! Hey, hold
You know what? Let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's pop.
Grand Theft Auto: Vice City Stories. Rated M for mature.
Hey.